Apache women arrived on Christmas Eve. "I need a shelter," she said to the widowed rancher. The council chambers on Varela Prime were silent, except for the soft hum of energy screens lining the walls. The elders who had guided the galaxy for thousands of years sat in their usual formation, their faces calm but serious. They had seen countless species rise, fall, and sometimes destroy themselves. Yet today they were worried about something new, something different. Humans. Captain Jack Turner of Earth had just arrived at the council's meeting hall. He was tall, with broad shoulders and a determined look in his eyes. Beside him walked Lily Carter, a scientist who specialized in energy systems and alien technology, and Ben Harris, the youngest engineer on the fleet but already known for his quick thinking. They were the first humans to attend a formal meeting of the Galactic Council, and many species watched them closely. Some with curiosity, some with doubt. Jack felt the weight of the room. There were hundreds of species gathered, from the insect-like Morvans with their glittering exoskeletons to the aquatic Arliths who floated above the floor in transparent tanks filled with water. The air smelled faintly of metal and alien spices, and the low hum of the building made it feel alive. An elder named Valen stood and addressed the council. His voice was calm, but it carried authority that made even the rowdiest species quiet. "We have called this session to discuss the newest members of the galaxy, humans, Bert. While they appear weak and unassuming, we have observed their growth and their potential. We warn all member species, do not anger humans. Underestimating them could lead to disaster."
A ripple of whispers spread across the room.
The Morvans clicked in confusion, and the Arliths made a low bubbling sound. Many species had dismissed humans as primitive. They could see humans walking on two legs, eating, talking, and building simple ships. They did not see the long history behind them. They did not know what humans were capable of. Jack listened carefully, his jaw tight. He had heard about the elders' warnings before, but seeing them delivered in person made them feel more real. Lily nudged him gently, as if to remind him to stay calm. Ben, on the other hand, was staring at the alien council with wide eyes, fascinated by their strange forms and languages. Valen continued. "Humans have survived centuries of hardship on their home world. They have adapted to conditions that would have destroyed other species. Their resilience is unmatched, and their creativity can surpass the most advanced technologies in the galaxy. They are not to be underestimated. A species known as the Varelians, with pale gray skin and long fingers tipped with sharp claws, laughed softly from the back of the chamber. Their leader, a sharp-eyed male named Torvik, stood up. "Resilience does not equal strength," he said, fast. His voice was sharp and cold. "Humans may have survived their small planet's problems, but in the galactic stage they are nothing. They are slow, fragile, and inexperienced. What can they really do against a true power like the Varelians?" Jack felt a surge of anger, but he held it inside. He had learned that diplomacy was important, even when the other party insulted you. Lily put a hand on his arm, and he relaxed slightly. He knew the elders had warned against anger. The human way was not to lash out immediately, but to think, to plan, and to act when the time was right. Valen's eyes narrowed slightly at Torvik. "Do not mistake inexperience for weakness. Humans may surprise you. Their history is long, and they have a capacity to endure and adapt that most species do not understand. Let this be a warning. Do not provoke them. You may regret it." The council session ended, and humans were escorted to a quiet observation room overlooking the central starfield. Jack sank into a chair, rubbing his temples. "They really don't take us seriously," he said quietly.
Lily sat next to him, scrolling through her data pad.
Best. They think we're weak, she said. But the elders see something in us that others don't. Burst. We just need to prove it. Ben grinned, bouncing slightly in his seat. I don't know about proving it. I just want to see their ships. Bay. Did you see the Morven's fleet outside? That's incredible. Jack shook his head, smiling slightly despite the tension. It's not about the ships, Ben. It's about understanding them. If we make mistakes now, it could cost lives.
For the next few days, the human delegation observed the galaxy's hub.
They saw massive cities floating in orbit, planets covered entirely with technology, and trade stations buzzing with species from all corners of the stars. Humans had built nothing like this yet, but they learned quickly. Every observation became a lesson. Every encounter became an opportunity to improve. Meanwhile, Torvik and the Borellians continued their subtle attacks. They cut off minor trade shipments, spread rumors about humans being incapable of handling diplomacy, and even hacked into small communication networks. Jack, Lily, and Ben kept notes, analyzing each move carefully. They understood that this was not a personal insult. It was a test, and humans were always better when tested.
One evening, Jack and Lily walked through a park-like area on the council station.
Bioluminescent plants glowed softly, and alien birds with glass-like wings flitted among them. Jack stopped, looking out at the stars. Bah, it's beautiful, he said softly.
It is, Lily agreed, but her voice had a serious edge.
But beauty doesn't change reality. The Varelians are already trying to push us around. We need to be ready for what comes next. Bad. Jack nodded. I know. I wonder if they realize what humans are capable of. They only see the surface, not the depth. Ben joined them carrying a small data pad. Depth? That's a good word. Humans are like, mice. Most of what we can do is hidden. But they won't see it coming. Lily smiled faintly. Despair. Exactly. But we have to be careful.
Patience is our strength right now. The elders warned everyone for a reason.
Burse. The next council session was called to address trade disputes. The Varelians made their complaints first, claiming that humans were taking more resources than they were entitled to. They presented fabricated data, carefully crafted to make humans appear inefficient and greedy. Many species nodded along, believing the story. Jack and Lily countered calmly, presenting evidence of human efficiency and honesty in trade practices. Ben demonstrated a new energy system that could improve interstellar transport efficiency for everyone. Slowly, the tide turned. Some species began to doubt the Varelians' claims. Bah. Others remained skeptical but curious. Torvik watched closely, his face darkening. These humans. They think they can change our minds with small tricks and clever devices? Hissed. Valen the Elder did not respond directly. Instead, he observed silently, a faint smile playing on his lips. He had seen this before, centuries ago, when smaller, underestimated species showed what they could do under pressure. He knew humans would surprise the galaxy, but not through violence. Not yet. They would surprise it through resilience, intelligence, and unity. That night, Jack, Lily, and Ben gathered in their quarters, reviewing the day's events. Jack leaned back, exhausted but alert. They keep trying to push us. They don't understand patience. They don't understand strategy. But we will. We have to. Better than not. Bass. Lily rubbed her forehead. And we have to keep learning. Every move they make is a lesson.
Every insult is a challenge. That's how humans grow.
Ben smiled, holding up a small model of a human ship. I like challenges. Makes life more interesting. Makes life more interesting. Jack looked at the stars outside their window. But dangerous, too. We need to be ready for what comes next. I have a feeling the Varelians will test us further. And when they do, we have to show them that humans are not weak. Base. Days passed and the humans continued their observations. They discovered weaknesses in alien technology, inefficiencies in galactic trade networks, and even corruption in certain council members. Each discovery made them stronger, more prepared, and more confident. They began subtle experiments of their own, testing new energy sources, improving ship designs, and developing communication systems that could link humans across vast distances almost instantly. Meanwhile, the elders watched. They rarely intervened directly, but their eyes were always on the humans. They understood that this species could change the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. They understood that humanity was not just another member of the Council. It was a force of transformation. One morning, a minor skirmish broke out near the trade route of a distant planet. The Varelians had attempted to hijack a human cargo convoy, hoping to intimidate them. Jack was notified immediately. He studied the situation carefully and sent a small fleet to intercept. The humans did not attack aggressively. Instead, they used superior coordination, shields, and timing to protect their convoy, forcing the Varelians to retreat without any casualties. Lily watched the monitors, impressed. They don't even realize how smart they are.
We didn't need to fight them. We just showed them we were prepared.
Ben laughed softly.
Sometimes showing them you're ready is better than punching them.
Humans do that well.
Jack nodded, a faint smile appearing. Yes.
That's exactly what the elders meant. Patience, strategy, and endurance. That is the strength of humans. The Varelians were silent after the incident.
They began to whisper, spreading rumors among other species about humans being dangerous, unpredictable, and resourceful.
The council noticed, but many species had already started to watch humans with new interest.
The elders allowed this quietly, knowing that the galaxy would soon understand the truth.
As Jack, Lily, and Ben prepared to return to Earth for further upgrades and planning, Jack looked out at the stars one last time.
We are just beginning, he said softly. The elders warned them for a reason. One day, they will understand. One day, everyone will.
Lily smiled.
Then let's make sure we are ready for that day, Ben chuckled, and maybe have a little fun along the way. The three of them looked at the galaxy stretching before them, endless and full of possibilities. Humanity had arrived, small in number but limitless in potential. And the elders, watching silently, knew that the warning had not been given lightly. Humans were not to be underestimated. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The Varelians had not forgotten the convoy incident. Torvik seethed quietly in his chambers, his claws tapping against the polished metal table. Every day, he grew more frustrated, bent. The humans were patient, clever, and always seemed a step ahead, even when they appeared weak. He had always thought a quick strike or a clever threat would keep a species in line, but the humans were different. They were not afraid, not easily provoked, and they refused to act recklessly. Back on the council station, Jack Turner and his team were reviewing the latest trade reports. Lily Carter pointed out inconsistencies in the data from Borrelian shipments. They're lying again, she said. Look at this. The numbers don't add up. They're claiming losses that never happened and blaming humans.
Ben Harris frowned.
They keep trying the same tricks. Do they think we'll fall for it every time? Jack shook his head. No, they are testing us, seeing how far they can push. We need to be careful, but we also need to be ready to act when necessary. The council had decided to hold a special session to address the mounting tension. Many species were beginning to notice the Varelians' manipulations. Whispers of suspicion spread through the council, but no one wanted to confront Torvik directly. Psst, 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 psst. Humans, on the other hand, had a chance to make a difference, and they intended to do so carefully. During the session, Torvik presented a new complaint: break. Humans continue to disrupt trade and attempt to take control of our networks. They are reckless and untrustworthy. We request immediate sanctions against their fleets. Jack rose calmly, his voice steady. The humans have only defended themselves and followed the rules of trade. If anything, your shipments are being delayed due to your own mismanagement.
We have records to prove this. Lily handed over detailed logs, showing every shipment, every route, and every adjustment.
The data was undeniable. Other species began to murmur, realizing that the Varelians' complaints had no real basis. Torvik's eyes narrowed. You may have clever numbers, human, but numbers cannot hide your lack of experience. In a real crisis, you would fail. Jack's expression remained calm, but inside he felt the old surge of determination. Humans had faced crises before. They had survived wars, famines, and disasters on Earth for centuries. Experience was not always measured in years or numbers. Sometimes it was measured in resilience, creativity, and the ability to adapt under pressure. The council decided to postpone any sanctions while reviewing the evidence. It was a small victory, but it was significant. Other species began to take notice of the humans' calm approach, their methodical analysis, and their unwillingness to react with anger. After the session, Jack, Lily, and Ben returned to their quarters. Jack paced slowly. They are not going to stop. Torvik will keep trying to provoke us, to make us make a mistake. Lily nodded.
Yes.
And we cannot let him. Patience is our advantage, preparing and improving. The more he tests us, the stronger we become. Ben leaned back in his chair, tapping on his datapad.
It's like a game.
Every move they make is just giving us information. We use it, they lose. Brass.
Jack smiled faintly. Exactly.
But this game has higher stakes than we like to think. Lives are at risk. We cannot make mistakes. Several weeks later, a human colony on the edge of the Varelian space reported an unusual incident. A transport station supplying food and medicine had been sabotaged. No lives were lost, but the humans knew it was a deliberate act, meant to intimidate them. Jack immediately convened a team. We need to investigate this, he said.
Lily, you and Ben check the systems for tampering. I will contact local authorities and make sure the colony is safe. Lily and Ben worked quickly.
Within hours, they traced the sabotage to a remote Borrelian command post. The attack had been subtle, designed to avoid detection until it was too late. But the humans were faster, smarter, and more careful. They restored the systems, protected the colony, and documented the evidence. When Jack reported the findings to the council, many species were shocked. The Varelians had crossed a line. Torvik tried to deny it, but the proof was undeniable. A debate erupted, but this time humans were not on the defensive. They presented solutions to prevent future sabotage, offering cooperation and assistance to other species. Lily spoke calmly, her voice clear and precise. Violence and sabotage do not solve problems. Humans have learned from history that planning, preparation, and collaboration lead to stronger results.
We offer our help to ensure peace and stability for all members of the council. The elders watched silently.
Wei Lin, in particular, was pleased. Humans were not reacting with blind anger.
They were using intelligence and strategy. That was the true warning the elders had given the galaxy. Humans were dangerous not because of brute strength, but because of their capacity to adapt, endure, and innovate.
Bears. Torvik left the council chambers quietly, his face dark. He had underestimated humans. Base. He had assumed they were weak, inexperienced, and easy to provoke. He was wrong.
Back on the council station, Jack, Lily, and Ben spent long nights planning their next steps. They knew the Varelians would not stop.
They needed to prepare not just for sabotage, but for more complex challenges. They began upgrading communication networks, developing defensive systems, and training local fleets in advanced strategies. One evening, Jack and Lily walked along a corridor overlooking the stars. The council station's lights reflected on the surface of distant planets, and massive ships moved gracefully in orbit. Jack looked at the stars and spoke softly. They think they control this galaxy. But they do not understand humans. We survive, we learn, and we adapt.
That is our strength!
Lily smiled faintly. And every time they test us, we grow stronger. Patience, strategy, and endurance. That is the human way. Ben joined them, holding a small device he had been working on.
I think I've improved the fleet's energy shields. If the Varelians try anything again, they won't even know what hit them.
Best. Jack chuckled. Good work, Ben. Pace, but remember, we do not use this to attack unnecessarily. Defense first. Always. We are not them. We are humans.
As the weeks went by, humans began to influence other species quietly. Some began to share technology, some began to question the Varelians' motives, and others simply watched in awe as humans solved problems that had baffled older, more experienced civilizations.
Torvik grew more frustrated. Every attempt to provoke humans failed.
Every sabotage was countered. Every insult was met with calm logic.
The Varelians' reputation began to suffer. Other species whispered about the humans' resilience, intelligence, and patience. Slowly, humans were gaining respect, not through fear, but through ability. Then came the breaking point. The Varelians orchestrated a major attack on a human colony in a remote system. They used multiple fleets, cloaked ships, and energy weapons designed to cripple defenses.
Casualties were expected to be high. Jack was immediately alerted.
He gathered his team. "This is it," he said.
They have gone too far. We cannot ignore this. But we will not respond with mindless aggression. We will act carefully, strategically, and effectively.
Lives are at stake. Lily and Ben nodded.
We are ready, Lily said. We have prepared for this.
We will protect them and stop the Varelians without unnecessary loss. The humans launched their fleet. Their ships moved in coordinated patterns, using new defensive technologies and advanced communication systems. The Varelians were confident in their superior numbers, but the humans' strategy was precise. They anticipated every move, countered every attack, and protected the colony completely. In the council chambers, other species watched in astonishment. Humans had not only defended themselves, but they had done so with minimal damage and maximum efficiency. The Varelians were humiliated, their strategy exposed.
Jack looked at the aftermath, exhausted but determined.
We protected our people, and we proved something else. We are not weak. We are humans.
We endure, we adapt, and we survive. And the galaxy has seen it. Lily smiled, exhaustion in her eyes. This is just the beginning.
They will keep testing us, but every test makes us stronger.
Every challenge teaches us more. Ben laughed softly.
And one day they will stop underestimating us. One day they will learn the hard way. Valen and the elders recorded every detail.
They knew the galaxy had been reminded of the warning. Humans were not ordinary. They were not to be provoked. And if pushed too far, the consequences would be far beyond what anyone could imagine. Jack, Lily, and Ben returned to the council station, ready to plan the next steps.
They had survived the first major test, protected their people, and demonstrated human ingenuity.
The Varelians had failed, and other species were starting to notice. The galaxy was beginning to change.
Humans were no longer seen as weak or unimportant. They were a force that combined patience, intelligence, and resilience. A force that could not be ignored.
Jack looked out at the stars. This is just the start.
We will face more challenges, more tests, and more attacks. But every time, we will grow stronger.
Every time, we will prove what humans are capable of.
Lily nodded.
And every time, we will show the galaxy that humans are not just survivors. We are creators, innovators, and protectors. We do not fight blindly, but we fight wisely.
Ben grinned. And we do it together. That's the human way.
The humans were not just another species. They were different.
Stronger than anyone had expected, and the Elder's warning had been true. Do not anger humans.
For when humans were pushed, they did not just defend themselves. They transformed, they adapted, and they changed the world around them. The humans had survived the first major test from the Varelians.
The council had taken notice, and whispers of admiration and curiosity began to spread across the galaxy.
Yet Jack Turner knew this was only the beginning.
The Varelians would not stop, and neither could the humans. They needed to grow stronger, not just in fleets and defenses, but in technology, strategy, and unity.
Back on Earth, the news of the Varelian attack reached every human settlement. Governments and corporations, scientists and engineers, all began working together like never before.
Jack, Lily, and Ben returned to coordinate the effort. They were greeted with a mix of excitement and urgency.
Humans had always faced challenges on their planet, but now their struggle was on a galactic scale. Jack met with a team of engineers, diplomats, and military strategists.
We cannot just defend ourselves, he said firmly. We need to grow.
We need to advance our technology, improve our communication, and expand our fleets. And most importantly, we need to learn from every species in the galaxy while staying true to who we are.
Lily added, we have the knowledge and the ingenuity. If we combine it with the best alien technology we can access, we can create systems that no other species can match.
But we have to work fast. The Varelians will not wait.
Ben grinned. Fast is good.
Bet. I like fast. Let's start with the fleet. Shields, engines, energy systems. We can improve everything.
For months, humans worked tirelessly. Engineers and scientists built fleets that were faster, more flexible, and better protected.
Communication networks linked ships across entire systems in real time, and intelligence systems predicted enemy movements before they happened. Every innovation was shared cautiously with trusted allies in the galaxy, gaining humans new friends and support. Meanwhile, Jack organized training for human pilots and strategists. Every crew member learned not only combat tactics, but also diplomacy, negotiation, and problem-solving. Humans were becoming more than a species with ships. They were becoming a network of thinkers, planners, and protectors. One day, while Jack and Lily were inspecting a newly upgraded fleet, Ben rushed in, excitement written all over his face. "You have to see this."
I've just finished integrating a new energy shield system. It can withstand multiple attacks at once and adapt in real time.
No Varelian weapon can pierce it.
Jack looked impressed but cautious.
This is good, Ben, but remember, it is not about destroying enemies.
It is about defense, resilience, and control of the situation. We use our strength wisely.
Lily nodded.
We protect our people, and we create solutions that benefit everyone. That's the human way.
The Virelians, unaware of the massive upgrades humans had achieved, began testing their opponents again. They tried small skirmishes near colonies, spread false rumors about human fleets being uncoordinated, and even attempted to hack human networks. But each time, humans were ready. They countered the attacks, protected their colonies, and often improved their systems based on what they learned. Jack noticed a change in the galaxy. More species began to approach humans for advice, trade, and cooperation. They realized that humans were not aggressive conquerors, but problem solvers who could improve life for everyone. Even the elders smiled quietly at this development. Bet. One evening, while Jack, Lily, and Ben were reviewing reports from multiple human colonies, a new alert appeared. A distant human settlement was facing a combined attack from rogue Varelian ships and mercenary fleets.
Casualties were expected to be high if humans did not act.
Jack's face hardened. "This is bigger than anything we've faced. We need a coordinated strike, but we cannot just attack. We need a plan that protects civilians, defeats the attackers, and exposes them to the Council."
Lily and Ben worked quickly, calculating strategies, energy outputs, and fleet movements.
Within hours, a plan was ready. Humans moved in synchronized formations, using advanced shields, diversion tactics, and intelligence networks to track the enemy. The battle began. The Varelians and mercenaries believed they would overwhelm humans with numbers, but they had underestimated the coordination and adaptability of the human fleet. Ships moved in perfect formations, shields adjusted in real time, and energy weapons targeted the enemy with precision. Humans did not fight blindly. They used strategy and intelligence.
In the middle of the battle, Jack noticed a group of mercenary ships attempting to flank the human convoy. Lily, redirect the energy shields to cover the outer ships.
Ben launched drones to intercept them. We cannot allow them to reach the colonies.
The team executed the plan flawlessly. The flanking ships were neutralized and the convoy reached safety without loss.
The Varelian fleet had never encountered humans who could anticipate every move, adapt instantly, and protect their people so effectively. After the battle, reports flooded in. Other species in the galaxy had witnessed the humans' performance. They marveled at the resilience, strategy, and intelligence displayed. Slowly, fear and respect replaced doubt and ridicule. Humans were no longer seen as weak. They were seen as capable, innovative, and unstoppable when pushed.
Jack, Lily and Ben returned to the council station to debrief. Jack addressed a small gathering of council members and species representatives.
Humans do not seek conflict. We do not fight for glory or domination.
But when our people are threatened, we protect them with every resource, every skill, and every plan available. This is who we are.
Lily added, and we are not alone. We work with our allies. We share knowledge, and we find solutions that make life better for everyone.
Strength is not just in weapons. It is in cooperation, intelligence, and resilience. The elders recorded every word. They knew that humans were changing the galaxy, not by conquest, but by showing what was possible when a species refused to be broken by fear or cruelty. The Varelians, furious at being defeated and exposed, tried one last major attempt to intimidate humans. They coordinated multiple attacks on colonies and trade routes, hoping to create chaos, but humans were ready. Jack led a massive fleet, now enhanced with new technologies and strategies learned from both Earth and other species. Lily managed the energy and communication networks, coordinating attacks and defenses simultaneously. Ben directed fleet maneuvers with incredible speed and precision. The Varelians were overwhelmed, not by sheer power, but by the humans' ability to adapt, anticipate, and protect. Entire fleets were disabled without unnecessary loss. Colonies were shielded, and enemy plans were exposed to the Council.
After the battle, Jack addressed the Varelian leaders directly. We did not attack you without cause.
We protected our people and our allies. You underestimated us, and it cost you.
Humans are not weak. We endure, we adapt, and we protect. Bass, that is the strength you failed to recognize. Torvik, humiliated and defeated, had no words. The other species whispered among themselves, realizing that humans were different. Humans were not like any other species in the galaxy. Despair. Jack, Lily, and Ben returned to Earth to continue the upgrades. Humanity was transforming. Not just technologically, but socially and strategically. Their fleets, colonies, and networks were growing stronger, and their ability to protect themselves and others became legendary. Jack reflected on everything that had happened. The Varelians thought they could push us, make us react blindly. But humans are patient. Humans plan. Humans endure, and every challenge we face only makes us stronger. Despair. Lily nodded. Every time they test us, we learn.
Every time we face danger, we improve. That is how humans transform challenges into opportunities.
Ben laughed. And one day the galaxy will see it clearly. They will no longer underestimate us. Not now. Not ever. The elders watched from afar. They had given the warning. And now the galaxy was learning the truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, protectors, and catalysts for change. The universe itself was beginning to adapt to the presence of humanity. Back, looking out at the stars, thought about what lay ahead. This is only the beginning. We have faced our first major tests, but more challenges will come. And when they do, we will rise. We will grow stronger.
We will continue to transform ourselves and the galaxy.
Lily placed a hand on his arm.
Bess, and we will do it together as humans always do, through intelligence, patience, and unity. Ben smiled. And maybe a little stubbornness too? Jack laughed softly. Yes, a little stubbornness. That is human nature, and the galaxy will see it soon enough.
As humanity continued to expand, upgrade, and protect, their influence grew quietly but powerfully. Colonies became self-sufficient, fleets became symbols of resilience, and other species began to follow their example.
Humans were no longer underestimated. They were respected, best, feared in a sense, but not for aggression, because humans did not seek to destroy. They were feared because they were capable of something no other species had mastered, turning every challenge, every attack, every insult into growth, innovation, and strength. The galaxy was changing. Bear. Slowly, surely, humanity was transforming not just itself, but the very balance of power and potential. And the elders knew that the warning they had given so long ago was no exaggeration. Humans should never be angered, because when pushed, they did not merely fight, they evolved. Bat, Jack, Lily, and Ben stood together, looking out at the stars. We have much to do, Jack said quietly. Lily nodded. Much to protect, and much to build. Ben grinned. Ben grinned. And we are ready. The galaxy had begun to witness the rise of humanity, not through conquest, not through fear, but through ingenuity, courage, and the refusal to be broken. The Elder's warning echoed in the minds of every species. Do not anger humans. And the Varelians, who had tested them most, would remember that lesson forever. Humanity's transformation had only begun, but the path was clear. The universe was about to change, and the humans were leading that change with patience, intelligence, and the enduring strength that had always defined them. The galaxy had changed. Slowly, quietly, humanity had shown its strength, not through aggression but through intelligence, patience, and the ability to grow stronger with every challenge. The Varelians had been defeated, their attempts to intimidate humanity failing at every turn. Other species had begun to see humans differently, not as weak newcomers, but as a force that could influence the entire galaxy. Brr. Jack Turner stood on the observation deck of the New Earth Command Station looking out at the stars. Lily Carter and Ben Harris were beside him reviewing reports from colonies and fleets scattered across the system's desk. Every day brought news of progress, new colonies thriving, fleets upgraded, and alliances with other species forming. Humanity had become more than a species. It was a network of minds, skills, and willpower, spreading influence quietly but powerfully. Do you ever think about what the elders said? Jack asked, his voice soft. Do not anger humans. Bet. At first, I didn't fully understand, but now I do.
Lily nodded.
Yes. They weren't warning because humans are violent. They were warning because humans are relentless. When pushed, we adapt, we innovate, and we survive. That combination is something no other species had seen before. Ben smiled. And a little stubbornness doesn't hurt either. Jack chuckled. That, too. But this is bigger than stubbornness. This is about humanity's ability to change the galaxy. Bet. Every threat we face makes us stronger. Every challenge teaches us. That is the power the elders spoke of. The next council session was called, not by the Varelians, but by other species. They wanted to recognize the humans' accomplishments and discuss the new role humanity would play in the galaxy. Representatives from dozens of species gathered, their eyes filled with curiosity and respect. Even some who had once doubted humans now listened carefully to every word. Jack spoke first. We did not come here to dominate. We came to survive, to learn, and to grow. Every step we have taken has been for the protection of our people and the improvement of life for everyone in the galaxy. Humans are not perfect, but we have a capacity for resilience and innovation that is unmatched. Bear. Lily added, and we are willing to share what we have learned. Technology, strategies, communication systems, and knowledge of problem solving. We do not take these things lightly, and we do not use them to harm others. But we use them to protect, to adapt, and to improve. The elders seated silently at the back watched closely. Valen spoke finally, his voice carrying calm authority. Humans have proven themselves in ways no one expected. They do not seek conquest, yet they cannot be ignored. Psst. They do not fight blindly, yet they cannot be underestimated. They have transformed not only themselves but the galaxy. This is the truth we warned about. Humans are not to be angered, for when they are pushed, they will rise beyond expectation. A murmur of agreement spread across the council. Even the Varelians remained silent, humiliated by the recognition of humanity's skill and ingenuity. Torvik's claws tapped nervously against his table, knowing the galaxy had already judged him harshly.
Jack looked around the room.
Breaths. We are not seeking revenge. The Varelians have learned their lesson.
But the galaxy must understand something important. Humans do not take threats lightly. If you challenge us unfairly, you will face not just resistance, but transformation.
That is our promise.
And it is a promise rooted in survival, intelligence, and endurance.
Becht. The council session ended with a decision to formally recognize humanity as a major partner in the galactic network. Humans were offered the opportunity to lead a new initiative, uniting species in technological sharing, conflict resolution, and defense strategies. Humanity accepted, not as rulers but as facilitators of cooperation and growth. Back on Earth, Jack, Lily, and Ben began planning the next steps. They traveled between colonies, fleets, and research stations, ensuring that humanity's influence spread in a constructive way. Despero. Humans built massive energy grids to supply planets with power, new communication systems that linked entire star systems, and defense networks that protected colonies without escalating conflicts. One evening, while inspecting a newly completed colony, Jack spoke to the leaders gathered there.
You are not alone!
Humans have learned that working together is the strongest strategy. Every species has something to offer, and together we can face challenges no single species could survive alone. That is how we thrive. Lily added, technology, strategy, and knowledge are tools, not weapons. We share them with those who want to improve life, and we protect those who are vulnerable. That is the future we are building. Even the Varelians began to cooperate, though reluctantly. They had seen firsthand that humans could not be beaten by force or intimidation. They realized that trying to dominate humans would only result in failure and humiliation. Slowly, they began to participate in shared projects, contributing knowledge and resources under human guidance. As months turned into years, humanity's influence grew quietly but profoundly. Colonies became self-sufficient, fleets were interconnected, and trade and communication flourished across previously isolated systems. The galaxy was changing, not because humans demanded it, but because humans showed what was possible when intelligence, patience, and resilience guided action.
Jack, Lily, and Ben often stood together in the command station's observation deck, looking at the stars.
We have come far, Jack said softly, but we cannot stop. The galaxy is bigger than we can imagine, and there will always be challenges. Lily nodded. Yes. But every challenge makes us stronger. Every test teaches us something new.
Humanity grows not because we seek power, but because we refuse to be broken by adversity.
Ben smiled. And someday everyone will see it clearly.
Humans are not just survivors. We are innovators, protectors, and catalysts for change. The elders recorded these moments, their warning now fully realized. Humans were a species unlike any other. They were not the strongest in physical terms, but they were unmatched in resilience, ingenuity, and the ability to adapt and improve under pressure.
The galaxy had been transformed not by war, but by the patient and persistent efforts of humanity. Despair. One day, a young human diplomat named Mia Johnson stood before the council, representing multiple species in a discussion about interstellar trade.
Psst. She spoke with clarity and confidence. Humans have learned from history that cooperation is stronger than conflict, and intelligence is stronger than fear.
We do not seek to dominate. We seek to share knowledge, protect the vulnerable, and build a future where every species can thrive.
That is how we measure strength.
Across the room, many species nodded. Even some of the former critics smiled, realizing the truth in her words. Humans were no longer underestimated.
They were respected and admired. Jack, Lily, and Ben watched proudly.
Humanity had not only survived the tests of the Varelians, but they had transformed themselves in the galaxy. They had shown that patience, intelligence, and resilience were more powerful than aggression or fear. Jack turned to his team. This is the legacy we leave. Not through domination, not through war, but through progress, protection, and perseverance. Humans have proven that when pushed, they do not just fight back. They evolve, and in evolving, they raise the universe with them. Respecting. Lily smiled. And this is only the beginning. There will always be new challenges, new species, and new discoveries. But humanity is ready. Narration. We have proven that we can adapt, survive, and thrive under any circumstances. Ben laughed softly. And stubborn as ever. Jack chuckled. Yes, stubborn. That too. But that is part of what makes us human. Our persistence, our creativity, and our determination. The galaxy will never forget it. Over the next decades, humanity's influence continued to grow. Colonies flourished into self-sufficient planets. Fleets became symbols of protection rather than aggression, and new alliances formed across star systems. Humans shared technology that helped species overcome environmental challenges, heal from disasters, and communicate instantly across vast distances. Even the Varelians began to cooperate fully, recognizing the benefit of working with humans rather than against them. Torvik, older and wiser now, finally acknowledged humanity's unique strength. I underestimated them, he admitted quietly to his council.
Humans are not just survivors.
They are changers of worlds.
Jack, Lily, and Ben watched the galaxy transform before their eyes.
It was no longer divided by fear, suspicion, and competition. Slowly, a network of cooperation, protection, and shared growth emerged. Humanity had led the way, not through force, but through patience, strategy, and resilience. Jack looked at the stars one last time from the observation deck. We have built something greater than fleets, technology, or colonies. We have built trust, respect, and hope.
That is what humanity brings to the galaxy.
Lily placed a hand on his arm.
And the elders were right. Humans should not be angered.
Best. Not because we are violent, but because we are relentless. When pushed, we do not just react. We rise, we adapt, and we transform the world around us. Ben grinned. That is our greatest strength. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had led the way. The elders recorded their final observation: never anger humans.
For when humans were tested, they did not merely fight. They evolved, transformed, and lifted the universe along with them. Humanity had arrived, not as conquerors, but as catalysts. The galaxy had learned the true meaning of strength, resilience, and the enduring power of intelligence and cooperation. And as Jack, Lily, and Ben looked out at the endless stars, they knew that the future was theirs to shape, wisely and boldly, as humans always would. The universe had been transformed, and humanity had proven the elders right. Do not anger humans.